So, last time we had a little bit of an issue with our connection. This time should be okay, at least for now. We're gonna get better with time. But I just want to finish this. I gotta finish this game up at the very least, and then show off like the tiniest amount of gameplay for Donkey Kong Land. Trust me, it'll all make sense. Alright, Kong Fused Cliffs. I remember this game, this level in particular. I don't know how I did it, but I do. Like, when I was a kid, this level was the one that seemed to show up, like, the most in my subconsciousness. So my parents had, like, nearly completed files of every single game in the series. I don't think they ever went out of their way to, like, 100% complete them, but this was definitely one of the games that was there. And I remember very much this level in particular. For Donkey Kong Country 1, I remember mostly World 1, but for Donkey Kong Country 2, the one that sticks out to me most when I was a kid was Chain Link Chamber. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the hit there, because I actually want to go finish this properly. It's interesting what your brain remembers when you're real young. You think you're like... You think you've got a pretty good handle on everything that you remember, and every once in a while you just get reminded of something like, wow, I just completely, like, forgot about that. In this case, it wasn't one of those, but, like... I don't know, just from when you're a kid, there's just something that you, like, choose to remember. And, like, yeah, that specific memory, that's one that I've held on to for some reason. And the one I remember the most is choosing Kong Fused Cliffs and being utterly shocked at the fact that you're running away from a rope that's on fire. It was just such a unique idea. Actually, this game does do something similar later. You're not on a rope, but you are climbing up. We're gonna see it in a minute. Not in a minute. We've got a while before we get there. But it's, yeah, you're gonna see it when we get to the Lost World. The rest of Razor Ridge isn't so bad. It's just funny because Razor Ridge seems like such final boss area. In some ways in my brain it is like the final area, but there isn't. There's actually one more. There's actually Chaos Core as the last area. But like my brain doesn't like compartmentalize it that way. Oh good, well at least I got Kitty back immediately. Man, it is so much easier to avoid stuff. Oh my gosh. Nope. I don't believe I missed that jump. Oh man. That the other day I was like, let me just use rewind for this one thing. And they're like, ah, but once you use it, you'll be addicted to it and you're gonna and I guess I am now. Now I'm using rewind all the time. Because it's just so convenient for correcting that one mistake. I gotta remind myself not to use it. It's way too easy to manipulate and just, like, constantly use. Anyway, sorry for the delay for anybody who was watching this live. I had a bit of an issue with there was a storm, and it seems to be over now, but it was pretty bad. We had a brownout and everything. There we go. Then we head up and around and go up top. And we've got that, so we have Benny and Bjorn. They both own the chairlifts. And we have the wrench. Chairlift is broken. I let my number 6 wrench to someone. And there we go. We had to spend $50 to get this going, but whatever, we did it. Note the background shows, like, snowy, snow-peaked, what's the word? It shows snow-peaked, trees, but we don't have anything like that here. So I have been constantly watching the footage for Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I do already have a copy reserved. All I gotta do is go pick it up in 2 weeks, but still, oh my goodness, I wish I had it now. Alright, floodlit fish. Every Donkey Kong Country game on the Super Nintendo needs a level where it's dark, and here's 3's. For once, though, they don't actually flash a light in your face. There you go. Well, that's not too bad, is it? The thing that kills you about this level is really nothing to do with the lights. I mean, you can obviously see well enough because you have to be able to see in the dark in order to go figure out where to go so you can get unguard. Where this game, perhaps, where the level becomes challenging is dealing with all the urchins. Or the lurchins. Yeah, that's what they're called, lurchins. There it is. I knew you had a bonus barrel hidden away. We back at it, we're back at it. I decided I couldn't leave well enough alone, I have to finish. So I don't mind or too much if you end up having to go somewhere else, but I just wanna get it done, say we did it. The marathon's the marathon, I'm not giving it up. I also found out that I am apparently way too susceptible to using rewind features. So I gotta be careful not to use those anymore, because I like beating games normally. There's something satisfying about playing the game by its rules and beating it within the frame that it's set up for itself. Like, the first time I beat Mario 3 on the NES, that is a satisfying game to complete. It feels like, because you can't save, so you gotta do it all in one sitting. And that is like, that feels good, you know? I think I remember, you know, I did it one time without warps or anything either. Takes a while, but it's not that bad. It's reasonable to expect somebody with some time to be able to finish that in one sitting, I think. These games, I don't know, these games do require saving, especially if you're someone who's not me and doesn't know where all the secrets are, and hasn't dedicated their life to paying attention to it. That's just how things are. I don't even mind save stages for pausing a playthrough in a game like that. Yeah, I'm not gonna, like, give someone flack for using these features, mind. It's just, sometimes it's like, ugh, that jump I shouldn't have messed up, I messed up, and I just used it, too. There's a jump I shouldn't have messed up that I messed up. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, but, like, I messed up a jump that I shouldn't have messed up, and it's like, well, I could fight to get all the way back here, or I could just rewind half a sec and do that jump differently. I still got here. I just changed the outcome of one, you know? It's like, I guess I can't really say too much about that, you know what I mean? Because if you prove that you can do it once, then, like, go for it, you know? I knew that would happen. I guess this is an interesting way of changing up the game a little bit, because Unguard's kind of overpowered. Random aside, you play any instruments? I used to play piano when I was younger. I was terrible at practicing, so I never got anywhere, and I eventually begged my parents to stop sending me to lessons. The only thing I really knew how to do was how to play by ear. And even now, if I went back to the piano, I could probably, like, just play a couple of things by ear, but heaven forbid I actually have to use both my hands. In some ways, I wish I kept at it, but you know what? In other ways, it's just, like, I really wasn't enjoying it. Just show a note staff while playing a MIDI. Like, it just shows you what notes the MIDI is playing. Yeah, I can see why that would be an issue. Most music programs don't show a typical musical notation. They usually do their own thing. There we go. There's gonna be a pair of lurchins somewhere that I want to keep my eye out for, because underneath them is a secret. I think it's these guys. There it is. I knew it was there, and they killed me. I'm outsmarter. I'm smarter than they are, but, you know, they just have overpowered weaponry that forces me to use suboptimal mechanics. So, you know, get bent. Hope they nerf that next time. Just follow the line. You know, in Donkey Kong Land, they don't have the part of the level where you go to the cave ground section after you finish a water bit, so they just give you the hero coin. It's just hiding somewhere in the water, and you don't even have to fight a coin to get it. I say fight like this isn't just a tedious process. So we've got Pothole Panic, and then one more level, but I forgot what the name of that other level is. I always remember Pothole Panic, though, because it's like the one level in the game where they actually let you use the animals when they're in crates and not when you transform into them. I wanted to see more of that. It's just that image of Donkey Kong riding Rambi is very iconic, and it's not the same if you're not riding them, you know? Anyway, those are Kachuckas. Cool name. I like that. I've always liked how that rolls out the tongue. Kachucka. Despite having a K, you know, they have a K in their name, so they are Kremlings. You can see the arms come out. Look at how happy Kitty is to be here. That's got to be one of the rarest sprites in the game to see. Kitty holding on to Squawks. Oh, okay. Now, when you say rarest, I mean appears the least often. Because, like, think about all the other sprites in the game, for all the other actions Kitty can perform. I can't think of any of those that would appear less often. Speaking of Rare, we gotta talk about what happened to Rare yesterday. It's, oh my gosh. Perfect Dark canceled. Everwild canceled. They laid off a bunch of employees. Greg Mails, who had worked with Rare since the 90s, finally like left the company on that day. I think Rare might end up being one of the companies that like Microsoft buys and then dies. I mean, for what it's worth, though, they lasted a really long time. Hang on a second. Sometimes I wonder if Rare would have been better off sticking with Nintendo, or if Nintendo would have been better off buying Rare. But it's just, when you look at the situation that Nintendo found themselves in at the time, it makes a lot of sense why they decided not to buy Rare. Or rather, why they decided to bid, but not bid as much as some other people had. At that time in 2002, Rare, like, said they were working on a whole bunch of stuff that was supposed to come out for the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube, including stuff that was supposed to be out. What was the final? Sea of Thieves. And they're still updating Sea of Thieves, and that's probably going to have continued development because that's been one of the most successful games they've done. It's just all their new projects that they said they were working on are canceled. There was rumors and murmurings that one of the canceled projects they had was a Banjo-Kazooie game, but I don't know. You know, there's no proof of that. Oh my gosh, the slowdown. Well, anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. When you look at what Rare was doing in the early 2000s off of the N64, you see a lot of broken promises. A lot of things that they said would be ready in a certain year or on the console at a certain time. Projects they had in the work that just kept getting delayed. And where Nintendo was with having to be kind of choosy about the developers that they decided to keep their partnerships with, I think it's kind of reasonable why they decided to let Rare go. In reality, honestly, Microsoft was probably a better choice for them than some of the other options, because amongst the other people who were trying to buy them was Activision. And I'm going to be real, if Activision had bought Rare, who knows what would have happened to anything they made. If they were going to go the way of Crash and Spyro, they probably would have had, like, maybe a couple more games left in the tank, and then ultimately rot in obscurity. Which is, I guess, kind of the same thing that happened. People are saying the same thing that you usually see with this, that Nintendo should have bought Rare, and I'm going to be honest, I think I'm beginning to wonder if maybe buying them would have been a good idea in the long run. I mean, their IP, they made the N64, right? They were like half the reason people even bought it, the other half being Nintendo themselves. And you can't deny that. But all the people who made those games were kind of on the way out anyways. I can, you know, like, they made good games. And they made a lot of them. So it does kind of baffle the mind at how Nintendo could see how they more or less made up all the, you know, a lot of the worthwhile games on the Nintendo 64. And they were happy to have their 49% share. Yeah. And it is insane. But Rare, we find out from, like, so many different sources that if there was one thing Rare was good at, it was constantly, and I mean constantly, not meeting deadlines. Every single game they made went through like 5 or 6 different alterations before finding like a product vision that they were happy with. And it's kind of funny. In a way, it's kind of amazing that the Donkey Kong Country games had such a smooth production as it did. Because as far as I can tell, none of the games on the Super Nintendo ever were... None of the Donkey Kong Country games ever had, like, development problems. More so than usual, right? But Project Dream took forever to make, and then it became... It started out as an RPG on the Super Nintendo. Then it changed to an RPG on the N64. Then it became a platformer on the N64. Then it became a collectathon platform on the N64. And then it became Banjo-Kazooie. And Banjo-Kazooie was a good game, so the results were worth it. But when it comes down to it, if one of your companies that you're holding is never able to meet any deadlines and always seems to be scrapping projects, then I think I can understand why Nintendo might have been a little apprehensive to keep them around. And for what it's worth, Microsoft did let Rare kind of do whatever they wanted for a while there. They made Grabbed by the Ghoulies, they finally finished Cameo, Elements of Power. They chose to make Nuts and Bolts the way that, you know, Nuts and Bolts... We say any of their games feel rushed. No, I would say that their game... I don't think I would say their games generally feel rushed. Maybe, honestly, it's funny because this game took forever to come out, but I think Conker's Bad Fur Day is a game that feels very rushed in its second half. Once the movie parodies start coming out, you know? Because that's when it feels like they were struggling to get this game out there and to, like, have a conclusion that they thought was funny. You know what? I don't want to do that whole thing all over again. I'm just gonna rewind because I don't want to do the whole thing with Perry again. Oh my gosh, it's infected me. I'm rewinding. Well, here's Barbos. I like Barbos. Funky. I think Barbos is a she. Anyways, yeah, and I don't know. There was never really a Banjo 3 planned for the Nintendo 64 outside of just the idea that they wanted to make another one at some point. They had a couple of Donkey Kong projects that were definitely being worked on. Diddy Kong Pilot, it was shown in 2001, but it had a complete build by 2003, which they ended up reworking into Banjo Pilot, changing, honestly, very little of that demo, of that version of the game they made. They just really changed out the sprites in, like, 1 or 2 of the songs. Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge started out on the Game Boy Color as Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Curse, and switched from a 2D platformer into a top-down platformer. But the Donkey Kong Country remakes on GBA were pretty cut and dry. They were very swift. Diddy Kong Racing DS was also very swift. Diddy Kong Racing DS started its life as another game entirely. And, like, I don't know how much of these stories are from a game that struggled to get things out, or, like, that just happened over the course of its development. It's hard to say. Donkey Kong Racing was a game that originally didn't have any gameplay for it shown. All we had was one single trailer and one music track that was played over the trailer. The only thing we knew about it is that it was going to have Donkey Kong characters, including Taj from Diddy Kong Racing. And they were going to all be racing various types of animals. They showed off swordfish and rhinos, zingers, and elephants. Anything. They showed, like, any animal from the Donkey Kong franchise looked like it was going to be rideable. And the playable characters shown off were DK, Diddy, Tiny, Taj, and Kitty. And there was also a press release shown that there was also like a picture they showed to the press that had GameCube models of all the characters and had Lanky there as well. I don't think Dixie was shown off. And that game went through so many different stages of development after it wasn't Donkey Kong Racing anymore. It started, so they wanted to make a game based off, they ended up starting to make a game based off of Saberman, which was a game they made for the ZX Spectrum. And it was going to be called Saberman Stampede. And it was going to be about capturing animals and lassoing them. And then we're going to use some of the mechanics they had for Donkey Kong Racing for how you were going to control the animals. And eventually you'd befriend them and stuff like that. But that ended up going through so many different iterations and changes that that the whole thing just got totally scrapped. And that's kind of the story of Rare. Like, they made some of the best games ever, but they also had a ton of projects that just kept getting stuck in development hell and never released. Cameo Elements of Power was supposed to be a launch game for the GameCube, and it turned into a game that came out on the Xbox 360 a whole generation later. I'm honestly shocked that they got 2 Viva Pinatas on the Xbox before they, like, in a reasonable time frame. But on the other hand, it seems like Rare was a little bit more freeform about their development in general, so a game not necessarily meeting its release window wasn't a huge problem as long as they could turn it into something else, because that was what happened with Project Dream and Conquer 12 Tales. I do wish we could have gotten the original version of Conquer. I would have loved to see another collectathon platformer that's not Banjo from Rare. And it wouldn't have been made by the Banjo team, so it would have been different from DK64 and Conquer. Excuse me, it would have been different from DK64 and Banjo. It would have played pretty differently. But you know what? I think I'm gonna actually show off a little bit of Diddy Kong Pilot when I get to that, because a ROM of it was leaked online years ago, and the whole game is playable. It's the entire thing. And it also includes full voice acting. Imagine that. A Donkey Kong racing game that includes full voice acting for all the characters. Well, let's go see Baffle. He's trying to solve a code. We need the mirror. My name's Baffle, the master of code. I've got a problem at the moment. I can't break a code I've been working on. Maybe I should reflect on it. Yeah, basically he's saying that we need to get the mirror. However, I already know what the answer to the code is, so I don't actually need to go get the mirror. Oh, this level. We've got ghost barrels that phase in and out of existence. Gosh. You know, I just had a thought, like, of how would I possibly cope about my favorite games series getting another entry back in the 90s. We didn't have YouTube. All we had were advertisements and whatever Nintendo Power would show. I wouldn't be able to see the game whenever I want unless I walked over to like a KB Toys or to a Toys R Us and just see if they had any trailers playing. I wouldn't really know what was coming out unless I had a subscription to Nintendo Power. And I guess there was also commercials because everybody watched TV then. I'm so accustomed to how things work now that the thought of having to just get no information on a game until it's out throws me for a loop. Gosh, if I, you know, even as late as the early 2000s, Pokemon Gold and Silver, right? Came out in '99 in the United States. If you want to know what Pokemon are in the new game, you either gotta watch the anime every week to see if they reveal one early, check out toy stores to see if they have a promotion for something like that, or you just wait until the game comes out. That's nuts. Oh, I did this once. Yeah! That was slick. And I didn't even have to rewind. Kind of crazy looking back at it, but you know, at this point in time, DK was still one of Nintendo's top franchises. And I guess we kind of had a repeat of that because the series didn't necessarily go on hiatus, but they went for about 10 years with nothing. And now they really they're really focusing on DK being a big name for the company. I wonder what that means. We probably won't be getting another big DK game on Bonanza scale anytime soon. I would be shocked if they were even working on a sequel or anything like that. Although I wonder if we're going to get any more spin-offs or anything. Because that's what DK had basically been doing during the 2000s. It was just spin-offs. Alright, hold on. This one's a toughie. I always forget about how difficult this one can be. There we go. Oh, nice. Worked out. Hang on, there's something. There it is. Oh, never mind. Not a bonus room. Alright, so when you do the code for baffle, basically it says to just do a figure eight around these rocks. Then there you go. There we go. But after Bonanza comes out, I guess we'll need to see how well it does to figure out what's next for this series. This is a level that absolutely drives people insane. Lightning lookout. Not only is it like one of the last levels in the game, but this lightning gimmick really gets you. There we go. So the way the lightning works is that it tries to get ahead of you. It does warn you before it strikes. And if you're in water when it goes off, it does electrocute all of the water. Which, that's the nastiest part. Because you are forced to go through water a couple of times. There we go. Watch Vinny's playthrough recently. I don't remember. I think you ever pieced together the water thing. I guess it's not that obvious if you're not familiar with, like, that electricity can do that. So what, he would just get shocked underwater and he would, like, he would get electrocuted underwater and he would just be utterly befuddled as to how that happened. How much of it is the difficult and how much do you think people are just not getting it? I think... I mean, if you get into a... You can get into a real rhythm with this level. Well, I was reading your first message second, sorry. I think, I think that this one's just kind of like a knowledge check. Like, if you just figure out how the gimmick works, the rest of the level will fall into place. Like, if you could figure out that the lightning doesn't go where you are, it goes where you think you're going. It goes where you think you're going based on your speed. So if you stand still, it's not going to go anywhere. But if you're running, it goes very far ahead. Dang it. I'm kind of impressed that they had the foresight to make it so that it, like, it goes where you think, where it thinks you're gonna go and not where you are. It could have very been easily become, like, a thing like Lakitu in Mario 1, where, like, you're never gonna get hit by it. But it's, you know, it's a legitimate challenge. Ah, that was the end, too. Oh, well, we made it. Not a big deal. Coin dozer clamber. So not just coins anymore, coin dozers. They run after you. I like coin dozer. Probably one of my favorite enemy in the series, just on concept. I like the idea that, like, an otherwise useless slash, like, collectible-oriented thing is dangerous. Honestly, I would recommend picking Dixie for this level, because you can just helicopter spin. Crash one native guys. You know, I do see... I see the connection. You kind of get into a rhythm with how far you can run and how far you can jump. Ah, the coins aren't the funny number anymore, guys. What am I gonna do? Now my humor is no more. Oh, a crimp as a bonus, thank you. Wow, they really didn't hide these. They're just right there on screen. There it is. Hold on, let me switch to Dixie. He just no-sells those. No, he's not interested in the wooden ones. Those don't do anything. The steel kegs are the problem. This is a very strange jungle. Like, why is it here, you know? Anyways, we've got the last level before Baron K. Rulenstein. We've got Poisonous Pipeline. This is a level that everyone has trouble with, and rightfully so. It's the last one. It should be a little bit troubling. That controls really mess you up. Up and down are the same, but left and right are swapped. Ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah, if we're gonna end on 73, then we'll have 74 after the K. Rool fight. Because K. Rool gives you one. Alright. Well, that's that. It only really matters when you get out of the water. Yeah. Oops. go. That was simple. Alright, just go right through. Hold on. We gotta go to the left. The bananas pointed up. Clearly they want me to go this way. That's it. I wonder what, like, having your controls reversed feels. And there we have it. That wasn't so bad after all. Alright, and now we are at Castle Chaos. Now it's time for us to go face Chaos head-on. Kong's back. This time Chaos will be victorious. Oh, do you think so, Chaos? If that is your real name. There we go. And he loses that head, and we got that thing underneath. Give it a toss, and Chaos is dead. Kind of an anticlimax, huh? They really don't set up Chaos very well at all. Even though the plot is supposed to be that Chaos is ruling the Kremlings now, or at least that's what they think. But nope, it's Baron K. Rulenstein. Kind of a lame name compared to Captain K. Rool. Oh no, what have you done? My wife's going to kill me. I used all of her best pots and pans to make him. I've shifted into the cartoon voice. Then you just cast him aside as if he were a stack of empty tins. I thought that's what he was. What? How dare you? Chaos was my ticket to world domination. I'd gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling kids. I guess today just isn't your day, is it? Well, you may have roasted my robot, but I'm the master chef around here, and I reckon it's about time your goose was cooked. Whoops. Wrong side. And then all Baron K. Rulenstein does is just kind of fly around. He doesn't really attack you. In fact, this whole fight is predicated on you hitting him. He doesn't do anything until you hit him first. Which is silly. He could have done something, and I don't think flying left and right counts as something. Especially when you consider how aggro he was in 2. He had a gun that fired spiked cannonballs. He was throwing all that poison stuff around. He had DK kidnapped, dangling him right above your head at the last moment. Like, oh my gosh. He's still got those big hands. He'll go back to having small hands in, He'll go back to having small hands in DK64. Alright, well, you know what? This is a little bit more of what I would call an attack. Really messed him up until he barely knows where he is right now. Getting eaten by sharks and sailing away, huh? One of the interesting things, and a little bit of background details about this fight is that that thing back there, the two antenna, they actually have electricity jump between them when he turns on the electricity. Oh my gosh. Oh, why did I get up? I always like that sound effect. That's always been pretty funny. Anyway, it skips the chaos part. Now it's time to float just a little bit above the ground. Hopefully that should be enough to take care of them. Right, I forgot that happens. Oh my, never mind. I wasn't on top of that. He's got more going on than Nasty Nork, I guess. You know what? I'll give him that. But Nasty Nork did have a redemption. He was in, I think he was in A Hero's Tale, and you got to fight him again in that game, and he had like an actual boss fight. What a weird thing to do, just to bring the enemy of the first game back out of nowhere. Well, that didn't work. Well, that really didn't work. At some point, I think I get another hit. I don't remember. I think everybody can agree, unfortunately, that Baron K. Rulenstein is probably his lamest persona. It's not really all that threatening. It doesn't have thematic cohesion with the rest of the enemies or the game itself. It's really just kind of like... he's here, you know? We gotta have him in a new persona, because the last game did, and we'll go with Mad Scientist this time. I don't know. But it gave us K. Rool's Propeller Pack in Smash Ultimate, so I can thank it for that. Also, I don't mind this theme either. The theme's not bad. It's fitting for a boss, even if it's not particularly memorable. Alright, there we go. Perfect. After this, I'm pretty sure it's the last phase. What a sound effect, though, for K. Rool, especially considering the sound effect he made in the last game. But he's not really doing anything mad scientist-y in this game. He lives in a castle, sure, but I don't know. Oh. Yeah, the barrel broke. I think this should be it. Maybe one more? There we go. 74. Did I miss one? And then it turns out that DK and Diddy were actually stuck inside of the machine the entire time. Whoa, my head, what happened? One minute I was dreaming about the world's biggest pile of bananas. The next I was a power-crazed madman. Hey, don't worry, Donkey. Thanks to Dixie, it's over. I'm impressed. I bet even Cranky would be after that performance. Nope, not really. Oh, okay, here you go. Right, you go that way, Kitty, and I'll go this way, Kitty, and I'll go that way. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses, would you? Wow, they're gonna kill him. And then we get a cast roll. The GBA version doesn't have this, actually. I don't know why they cut it from the GBA version. I always liked when games did that, but I guess adding that new world meant they had to cut elsewhere, and that included the cast roll. Crumple. I like the idea that Dixie was taking photographs throughout the entire adventure, but they, she doesn't have a camera or anything. Kachucka, Kachucka. I always think of Chick Hicks. Kachucka, Chucka, Chucka. Ah, coin, you are... I'm gonna be honest, there's not a single coin in this game that I didn't defeat, so I think you are like... What are you, 0 for like 35? 0 for 40? Gonna hurt his feelings. I don't care, he's a bum. He was asked to do one thing and he can't even do it well. Mm, 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 mm. Mm. Buzz. See, Booty Bird. Every time I say it, people always laugh because it's funny. But that's what its name is. Didn't even realize they gave the categories scientisty names. Yeah, I mean, in the first game, they were just called the good guys, the bad guys, the Kremlings, the Kongs. Then in 2, it was like, it's like scurvy dogs or something. They gave them piratey names. Kremling crew, something landlubbers. Yeah, exactly. And then in this one, they actually gave them like more regular names again. Belcha. Oh, we don't get to see them move around first? Well, it's nice to know that she got these photographs before flipping killing them. I would like to see these renders in high quality, actually. That's what Squirt looks like. Yeah, okay. Anyone has a valid beef with the Kong, it's a barrel. What is Belcha? What the heck are you? Like, you're a barrel, but like, why are you a living barrel? You're just, okay, this is a boss that's like a big thing of a smaller thing. Unfortunately, this is the one guy I would have liked to see a high quality render for his portrait. Wait! Hold on a second. Back up. His propeller is missing. I've never noticed that. I don't think that's an emulation moment. I think that's the same in the original game. Let me check. Yeah, no. Yeah, not even in the original game, it's missing in that scene. Oh, Squawks. They don't even credit Quawks in there. And get the Brothers Bear. Does Bachelor have like a frat boy motif? Yeah, he's just got sunglasses and he's sitting in a hot tub and you gotta get him chocolate for a date. And a chocolate and a rose for a date. I wish Bachelor Tom was that cool. No, but it's like rich Bachelor though, not like poor Bachelor, you know what I mean? Why are you in the middle of the mills? Wrinkly looks so healthy in this game. She does, right? She's standing up, she's working out, she's got her Taibo. And then she died. And then she died in between this game and Donkey Kong 64. Except, honestly, if she's dead but she's still here as a ghost, does it really matter? That must have been really proud of that 3D effect. I mean, it is pretty nice. Is this supposed to be a music box of some kind? That's true. I've never seen one like this. It's more like a player piano than a music box, you know? Cool Kong. Yeah, I don't even make the list. I haven't reached 103% yet. We gotta get there. 88%. Let's see. So the game's not over. Pretty obvious at this point if you've been playing the Donkey Kong games that it doesn't end when you beat K. Rool. It ends when you beat K. Rool. Let's go get him that flower. Here you go, Bramble. Here's your flower. I don't know when this flower spawns in the game. It's supposed to spawn sometime after you beat Mechanos. Because, like, you know, the idea is you shut down the factories, I guess, and that makes all the plants come back. I don't know, but that's the idea. I just have no idea when you're supposed to do, when that happens. I can never predict it. So I just usually get it after I beat K. Rool. And now we've got the Lost World. Hold on, let me take a quick look around to make sure that I'm not like a dunce, right? I didn't like... Okay, no, the flags are all up. For some reason I thought I needed 70, I thought I would have 75 at this point. Unlike Donkey Kong Country 2, when you go to the Lost World, you still have to complete regular bonus levels in there. Hello, Boomer's the name, blowing up things in my game. The rest of the folks have left me alone, I guess. Something about me being too dangerous or something. My brothers might be head with those old bear coins, but I'm only interested in the gold ones with B on them. If you hand me 15, this beauty will really be primed and ready to blow. You can see why they call me Boomer. Alright, Boomer. Excuse me. Okay, Boomer. And if you have all of them in the game at that point, you have enough to buy 4 of them. But you will need the rest of the coins to buy the last one. Now, this has a unique theme for Krematoa on the overworld here. But when you switch, when you play the GBA version, it actually doesn't have a unique theme for it. You just get the normal overworld theme for Krematoa. The Battle Network virus called Boomer. I wonder how many unfortunate boomers are floating out there. I mean, back in the day, we used to call them baby boomers. Now they're just called boomers. Ooh, last one. There we go. And to think, yeah, but Boomer used to be quite a normal name. I mean, people would name their dogs Boomer. I'm sure eventually it'll go back to just being a regular name. Who knows? So this is an example of when they're riding on squawks that actually makes it harder because your hitbox is bigger. Probably enter the lexicon. Honestly, maybe I could see it being turned into just a word that means any old person. Alright. All the levels in Krematoa are quite unique. And this one is certainly a way to put their best foot forward. In the GBA version, this has its own unique music. Well, I should say unique music, but it's actually the same music they use for when the Banana Bird Queen is chasing K. Rool. One thing I actually hadn't noticed, or maybe you have noticed, is that you can actually just, if the buzz is green, you can just run right under it. If it's red, you gotta jump over. It's kind of in the same field as Kane making Jax a vegan in the most recent episode. There we go. And that's the last time we'll see Perry. What could these gears mean? I don't know. We'll find out later. Crisscross Cliffs. This is the level that I was comparing Confused Cliffs to this one earlier. Kind of in the same ballpark. Aye. Oh, well. Give it another shot. Oh, I love when that happens. Of course, the last one. What's interesting about this level is that since the Super Nintendo, or at least this game, doesn't really keep a lot of things in its memory, switching the switches to kill the red buzz isn't actually necessary most of the time. If you just deload the buzz and then go around until it's not on screen anymore, it just doesn't matter. Same thing here, too. Just ride that bad boy up. I need Kitty. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a bonus over there. Ah, there we go. Oh, wait a minute. I could just do this. Never mind, I can't do that. Here, toss me up there. What? Not here? I could have sworn it was right here. Alright, guess not. Maybe a different one. Alright. Not there either. Dang it! I was trying to land just on the edge. Oh well. You know what, if I get a game over, I'll probably show this off anyways after I finish anyway, regardless, but if I get a game over, there's a thing you can do. You can mess around with the blocks on the game over screen to play music. Alright. That last one's a doozy, huh? Here it is. Pretty sure what we need to get is up there. Where I know that the coin is inside one of these alcoves in the middle. Where is... Wait a minute. It's not, is it? It's like... It's at the top, isn't it? No, it's not. Alright, I have no idea where the coin is. I know it's in the middle somewhere. But where? Do it again. There, pick up Kitty on the way. Alright, not here. Considering I never checked this one, it might be here. Nope, not there either. Oh, right. Just, yeah, just fall straight down. There we go. It's up there, isn't it? No, it's not there either. Where is it? I know it's in the middle. And there's the G. There it is. Gosh dang it. All right. Alright. There you go. Tyrant Twin Tussle. Not a terribly tough level, but kind of annoying. These guys are called Cuff and Clout, and even though they appeared in the credits roll as part of the Kremlings, they didn't actually, like... Alright, well, I was missing Kitty anyway. Even though they were in the credit rolls, we hadn't actually seen them yet. I gotta say, these guys look a lot better in sprite form. Alright, here we go. Here's what we need him for. You wondering what level Torpedo Ted was in forever? Well, I mean, you can see Torpedo Ted before the end of the game. Gosh, that sound effect. Is that the same scream K. Rool uses? Just at a slightly different pitch. I think that's what it is. There we go. Pretty unique way of doing that, actually. Gotta give that one props. This one makes this bonus a joke. Yes, I'll collect all my stars, thank you. No. I'd better not. There we go. That's how you're supposed to do it. You know, I always just kind of jump through it. There we go. Thank ya. Okay. And we're, yeah, very cheeky, that one. I knew it was going to be that. All right, now we're done. And you can see that the flag was now be high. I tried to do what you were thinking but failed horribly. Those dudes don't look like they should be invincible. Well, they're not invincible. But you're right, they look like they shouldn't be. They look like they might be able to be jumped on. I'll give you that. Oh, this level. Swoopy Salvo is like... I got kind of a personal beef with this one. It's just, this is always the one that kind of gave me trouble the most in the Lost World. I think we just go up. Just ignore that guy. Oh, that's all that was in there. Okay. Is this the place that had... No, not here. There we go. That's a really mean bonus room. Well, that was a pretty easy one. There should be one more bonus coin before we're done. There you go. Yeah, and then in a surprise twist, you don't actually do the whole level as Squawks. They make you do the rest of it normally. Hang on. Oh, this isn't that one. Whoops. There we go. Ah, that's right, and this one's not all that bad. Alright, well, that's it. We've got everything in the level. All we gotta do now is just get on out. I heard Kitty, but I didn't know where he was. Oh, well, I'll take that anyways. Uh-oh. There we go. I just realized that says coffee and tea over there. I guess that's for the people who are drilling out the tree. I never even noticed. Well, with that, we've got the last level of Donkey Kong Country 3. You know, reckon it'll fit on this strange box which has been here ever since I moved in. Pop it in and see what happens. So you're gonna have to find a few more of them to fit it all together. Yeah, okay. But I got one more Boomer special ready to go. Thanks, Boomer. Last one. Ba-bum, bum, ba-bum, ba-bum. All right. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Give me more fuel. There we go. I would... this is a cool idea for a level. Unfortunately, the second half of it is entirely memorization. There we go. There we go. Now this actually messed me up because in the GBA version, the direction you go, it does, like, you press the D-pad a certain way. It doesn't affect the thruster. It literally just is where you go. So that throws me off. Oh, we did it! Wow. Normally I messed that up pretty badly. Anyway, there's no checkpoints here, so... we got it. That's 40! Okay. Boomer, why don't you, yeah, why don't you open this up for me? Well, they're all in. Doesn't seem to have done much, though, does it? What on earth is that racket? Hey, take a look outside, Kongs. You won't believe it. What's the matter? So, I thought that it was just getting dark. But no, apparently that's supposed to be the water turning into lava. Which, like, really? Okay. I mean, it just looks like red water, but alright. Oh, and now that you've done this, it actually changes the color of all the levels in this world. Now they're all tinted red. kind of cool looking, actually. But anyway, time to do this again. The Nautilus. The real K. Rool final battle. What in the blazes? So you're the ones responsible for scuttling my super secret submarine. This is the last time you'll spoil my plans. I'm going to bash you good. Whoa, big man. Right, look out, you cheeky monkeys. Somehow it was more threatening when Mars said, hey, get back here, you bigger monkey. There we go. Oh, I missed. Hold on, pass by once more. There we go. Wait, it hit him! Does that not count? Alright, fine. There we go. It's not even aggressively floating around on the same layer as you anymore. You're right. Now we get to the dangerous part. No? Okay. Now the floor there it is. You can't run, because if you run, you pick up the barrel. Those are the last two hits of the fight. There we go, he's done. Well, we could solve this problem by simply moving towards him, couldn't we? There we go. Of course. Ah! Can I duck under that? If I can duck under that lightning, that would be grand. I've never tried. I've always thought I had to walk around. I'll let Kitty go first. He's less equipped for this, so it should be, you know, should be smoother if I switch to him. Okay. There we go. Well, here we go again. It's such a slow fight. I mean, I guess at least it's multi-stage, unlike the Captain K. Rool rematch. Alright. Okay, you can't duck under it, even though it kind of looks like you should be able to. Alright, well, guess there's no other way to do it than to flip and do it. That's the worst attack. Your mobility is so limited, and if you get unlucky with where the barrel spawns, right? Why is he only weak on the helipack? The important thing is that you learned something about the game today. Oh yes, you know, we're all very happy that I learned that that hurts me, even though I was already operating under the assumption that it did. It's just I had to be sure. At least I recorded it, making it science. There we go. There we go. And now it moves. Here we go. Alright, one more hit. Ugh. Gosh dang it. It's not science unless it's recorded and also someone dies. Good thing we had both of those. That was the final hit of the fight. I hate that phase. And it takes so long to get back. Like, ugh, gosh dang it. Oh, I can actually hit him from the front if I throw it high enough. There we go. bounces off of his stupid head. Alright, let's try that again. Come on. We can do this. Oh, good. That worked. Okay. What? I have no idea what happened. Why? Gosh, that final phase of the fight with the electricity sucks. It's always sucked. I've done it multiple times, and it's still annoying. Unless I just try... Maybe if I just try throwing forwards with Dixie, maybe that'll hit him. I don't know, we could give that a shot. Alright, fine. Alright, fine. Look, if you want to kill me, just stop spawning these. Nope. There we go. There we go. Okay, never mind. I got it perfect then. Alright, that's 2. Now we gotta do 3. Nope. Alright, that's 3. One more. Alright, kitty, you got one shot. There we go. Gosh dang it. That fight sucks. Anyways, spins around on the wheel. Now we save the game. Well, we can save the game right now. Defeated K. Rool. You know, kitty, since you've been away, I think these birds are beginning to get a little restless. Any chance that you could find out where they want to go? If you need help exploring, try asking Funky. Yeah, so now we gotta find the rest of the banana birds. Well, let's go see what Funky has to offer. the banana birds up to this point have been kind of a mystery. Unbelievable type of a situation. You found all the DK coins. I'm sorry, Katie, I didn't think you'd actually find them all, so I've got nothing new to show you. So if you go to him before you have them all, he basically says, like, if you got any more, you know, if you find them all, I'll get you something. And we get the gyrocopter, which I already showed off in the GBA version, so it's not quite as exciting, but hey, and we can fly up into the left side of the map, where we see the Banana Bird Queen. Thank goodness, at last somebody has found me. That rotten yellow belly K. Rool imprisoned me behind this evil barrier, which he sealed with a dark and powerful magic spell. Okay, I guess he can do that, even though he's a mad scientist right now. Then he commanded a bunch of his wicked crumlings to hide the only ones that could split the crystal key. My poor children. Only all of them together have the power to break the spell. Alright. Please, Kitty, find all of my children and bring them back to me as soon as you can. In return, I promise to rid this land of K. Rool forever, so keep your eyes peeled and return as soon as you can. Alright, thanks. Once I get out of here, I'm gonna give that banana brain K. Rool a major headache. So now that we have this, we have a couple of places where we can get a couple of extra banana birds, just to wrap things up. The ones in the GBA version kind of get ridiculously hard compared to this game, because in this one they have a couple of patterns where they try to, like, I think in the GBA version it's completely random, but in this one they have a couple of patterns that they like to use, and they try to keep them in groups so it's easier to compartmentalize. Alright, I think there's only one more to go. Why won't he build us this until we find all of the banana birds? I have no idea. Until we find all the hero coins? I have no idea. I needed to press A again, didn't I? Oh well. See, like, it goes in a pattern, and it doesn't use all four of them to kind of make it easier for you to keep in mind where they are. Anyways, now that we have all of them, we just go back down here. And Wrinkly says something like, my word, they seem very excited. It looks as if they want to take you for a ride. Oh. Baby needs a lot of trust to be given an aircraft. Oh, that's what you said earlier. Yeah. Well, I guess it was busted for a second, but now it's not. I see it there on my chat thing, but I don't have it on the actual chat thing on the left. You did it, you did it. You found all of my children. At last I can be freed from K. Rool's spell. I wish I understood what all these different symbols mean. How do you suppose they came up with this? The idea of a banana birds and the banana bird queen and everything. Oh, I'm so happy that we're a family again, and it's all thanks to you, Kitty. Now, as promised, it's time to fulfill my half of the bargain and teach K. Rool a lesson he'll never forget. Well, he got eaten by sharks last time and survived the explosion of Crocodile Isle. You're gonna have to do a lot to really, you know, do the same thing. Apparently he hijacked our hovercraft somehow. And apparently that's the lesson he'll never forget. You drop an eggshell on him. I mean, it's a big one, but, you know, it's an eggshell. And apparently that's enough to consider beating K. Rool. Kind of a sad end to it, don't you think? And I guess Cranky is just doing that. And that's it. That's the end. Let's see our final times. I beat my other time by 10 minutes. And would you look at that? It's interesting that it saves the name of names of some of the people, even if you don't like use that file. Let me show you guys something. So now that I've done all that, remember, I'm gonna show off the game over. We start with 5 lives, so it's not going to be hard. It's the only one I really want to show off because it's funny that you can play with it. Since I rarely ever see game overs in this game, this is something I usually have to do on purpose. In the GBA version, they do the same thing, but not only can you not play with them, they also don't match like anything. Alright, that's that. And then, for a little bit, let's take a look at Donkey Kong Land 3. For like the shortest of moments because I am tired and I want to be done. Every time I play Donkey Kong Country 3, I always think I'm going to be able to finish it faster than I actually am. Hey. So for the most part, it's pretty much what you expect that you get from the other two. The Game Boy, the Japanese version is in color, but the rest of this isn't. You actually have original levels in this game, each area of the game is original. It's not the Northern Hemisphere, but, you know, it's all based on it. And, of course, you have the Lost World, which is... you get there just by having all of the coins. And you fight K. Rool twice. Since there are less bosses, you fight Barbos, Bleak, Eric, Chaos, and K. Rool. So... no Belcha, for example. And it's just more of what you expect. But the thing is, this game is actually... I would argue that this game is easier than Donkey Kong Land 2. And that's for a couple of reasons. One, the environments are a little more generous, a little less difficult. It also has... it also only has 2 bonus barrels per world. So... oh yeah, there it is. There's a one... hold on, I actually gotta show you that. I talked about it at the beginning, but let me show it off again. They couldn't be bothered to change the 1-up balloons in this game. So, they're still Diddy. Like, are you... really? You couldn't be bothered to change this to something else? Alright. And then, instead of the Brothers Bear, you have 1 bear. You can spend 2 coins for a hint. Cliff-top critters, find the G and head to the left. Oh yeah, you can pay to find out where collectibles are. But if you pay 5 coins, you get to play a memory game, which you have to do to beat the game. Because he gives you a DK coin and a clock. And you might be wondering, what the heck is the clock for? The clock is to help you beat the game. You get, you need a certain number of them after you beat K. Rool in the Lost World, and then you're presented with this screen. Apparently, the story of this game is that everybody's on a wild treasure hunt, and DK already ran off with Diddy, so Dixie takes Kitty, and they're like racing to get there. So you do these races, and that's the setup. I am so sick of playing these GBA games at this point. I'm just glad it's over. Okay. Well, we'll be back on Monday. I'll be taking the 4th of July to visit some family. And then we'll return with Donkey Kong 64, which I'll be playing off of my Wii U, because we've got a Wii game or two that we've got to get ready for. So, I'll be seeing you guys then.